Only in Kentucky could a pair of 1800s rail stops fight over the county seat in a place so small, so rural, and so close to the Mississippi that the river itself changed the map more than the people did. Hi, I'm Michael. I want to teach you a little bit more about Kentucky, one county at a time, all 120 of them. And today we're talking about Carlisle County. And I'll fully admit, this county was difficult to find rich information for. Carlisle County was formed in 1886 out of the western portion of Ballard County. It was the last county created in the Jackson Purchase, Kentucky's youngest region, both historically and geologically. The county was named for John G. Carlisle, the Kentuckian who served as Speaker of the House and later Secretary of the Treasury. Although the Kentucky legislature initially named Arlington as the county seat, the decision didn't last. The town of Bardwell argued that it was more centrally located, and county officials moved the seat there shortly after the county was organized. Settlement in the area began after the 1818 Jackson Purchase Treaty, when the United States acquired the land from the Chickasaw. Early farming families arrived from Tennessee, Virginia, and the Carolinas, spreading out across the lowlands and rolling ridges. There were no towns yet. The settlements that became Carlisle County didn't take shape until the railroad era. The town of Arlington began in 1873 as a stop called Neville on a predecessor line of the Illinois Central Railroad. The name came from Robert Buckner Neville, who owned the land. A dispute over renaming the town after a local store owner pushed the railroad to settle on Arlington, borrowing from Arlington Heights, Virginia, the hometown of a railroad official. The town incorporated in 1876 and quickly grew around the depot with stores, warehouses, and hotels serving regional farm traffic. Now, Bardwell appeared a year later. It was founded in 1874 when an Illinois Central line reached the site. Early on, the place may have been called Crittenden, but that name was already in use elsewhere in Kentucky. Locals shifted to calling it Bardwell. Some say it honored a railroad superintendent. Others say it came from a boarded well at a construction camp. Bardwell incorporated between 1877 and 1878, forming a half-mile circle around the train station. And when Carlisle County formed in 1886, Bardwell challenged Arlington for the courthouse and won. The county sits on 199 square miles with two very different terrains. The uplands are made of rolling hills, dissected ridges, and broad valleys. The bottomlands along the Mississippi sit around 290 to 330 feet above sea level. These low areas include lakes, old chutes, and swamps, essentially all traces of former Mississippi River routes. And here's what I found quite interesting about the county. Islands. Islands 2, 3, and 4. A floodplain zone that the river carved away when it shifted. Those islands are still part of Carlisle County, but they sit on the far side of the Mississippi River, cut off from the rest of Kentucky by the river's change, of course. And that's why putting border lines along waterways can cause issues later. Arlington and Bardwell developed around the rail lines. Milburn, farther south, remained agricultural. Its most recognizable structure, the George W. Stone House, is a mid-19th century log dwelling with a layout more typical of something you might see in Louisiana than in Kentucky, making it one of the region's most unusual and most early surviving homes. Fires were common in early Carlisle. Wooden business districts in both Arlington and Bardwell burned multiple times in the early 1900s. Volunteer fire companies fought to save what they could, but blocks were lost and rebuilt in different patterns over time. These fires explain why neither town has long, uninterrupted rows of 19th century storefronts the way some other Kentucky county seats do. Education followed the same rural pattern seen across the Purchase. Dozens of one-room schools served the county's scattered families, and over the 20th century, these consolidated into larger school districts. Each consolidation stirred debate. Every community wanted to keep its own school. Eventually, the modern Carlisle County school system centered outside Bardwell, with students from Arlington, Cunningham, Milburn, and the surrounding farmlands attending shared campuses. Carlisle remained dry for much of the 20th century, and bootlegging was part of the county's story. Law enforcement seized stills from barns and outbuildings over the years. Store break-ins and farm thefts were more common than headline crimes. These incidents rarely made statewide papers, of course, but they did shape how residents thought about safety in isolated areas. Through every decade, agriculture anchored the economy. Tobacco once dominated. After federal quota reforms, soybeans, corn, and wheat took over. Farm consolidation reduced the number of small independent farms, but grain elevators in Cunningham and Bardwell remained major commercial hubs. Equipment dealerships, feed suppliers, and ag service businesses supported the county's working landscape. Carlisle County also leaned into outdoor recreation, with river bluffs offering views of the Mississippi and the confluence, lowland lakes formed by old river routes and miles of trails. The county became a destination for ATV riding, camping, hiking, hunting, and fishing. Several trail systems stretch over 12 miles across large farm properties, ranging from beginner paths to steep segments for experienced riders. And the combination of bluffs, valleys, and bottomlands gives the county a distinct outdoor character for its size. Roads connected Carlisle to nearby towns, Clinton, Mayfield, Wickliffe, and Paducah. Bardwell remained the county civic center, while Arlington stayed small but historically intact. Cunningham became the heart of school and community events. Milburn remained rural and church-centered. And development stayed, I guess you could say, modest, and much of the county still resembles mid-20th century Western Kentucky. So, that's Carlisle County. What'd I get wrong this time?